What saves a life isn't always heroics, it's a hand that decides to stay. On a rainy night, a shivering puppy lay in a soggy cardboard box outside a row of rooms. A pair of worn shoes stopped, a green raincoat crouched, warm hands lifted the box's smallest heartbeat. The man's name was Mr. Miller, and the pup would soon be called Buddy. He wasn't rescuing a stray, he was meeting family late. Inside a tiny apartment, the kettle hissed, the floor creaked, and Buddy met his first stainless steel bowl. First joke of the house, Buddy autographed Mr. Miller's slippers. Mr. Miller sighed, then laughed, and slipped the slippers into the sun. That was the tone, mistakes forgiven, love practiced. Mornings learned their rhythm, one old cap, one new leash, one faithful tail like a metronome. The place was small, a chipped table, a loud fan, a quiet hope. Buddy learned sit, stay, and please don't eat socks intermittently. Buddy taught Mr. Miller to go outside even on gray days. Neighbors waved. One noodle vendor pretended not to notice free sniffing. A vacuum cleaner rumbled. Buddy declared it a sworn enemy and retreated behind the couch with dignity. "What a smart dog," the neighbors said when Buddy fetched a towel on command. Secret truth, he was going for a cookie and grabbed the towel first. At the park, sunlight wrote new promises on wet grass. Mr. Miller asked, "Know why your name is Buddy?" "Because friends stay close, and because each day needs a small reminder that we show up for each other." Dinners were simple. Rice and soup for Mr. Miller, bones and broth for Buddy. On tough weeks, Mr. Miller ate less so Buddy wouldn't notice. Buddy noticed anyway and nudged the big piece back to the big bowl. Love wasn't measured in grams. It was measured in who took the smaller bite. At the door each night, keys clicked like a victory song, and Buddy's whole body became a greeting. It felt like this. Arriving home is a kind of winning. Buddy started delivering the correct pair of slippers each morning. Sometimes the colors didn't match. Mr. Miller called it fashion. They were not rich, but the house had a roof made of laughter. Under that roof, a promise formed quietly. What I receive, I will return. Storms can be weather, storms can be paper, layoffs came, hours vanished, bills didn't. Mr. Miller smiled less and sliced portions thinner. One night he whispered, "If it gets too hard, I'll find you a better home." Buddy looked up with eyes that said, "This is the better home." Friends don't leave when life trips, so Buddy got a job, morning morale officer. He escorted Mr. Miller past the noodle shop, where kindness traded broth for wagging tails. He accepted wages in soup steam and belly rubs and returned them as courage. Small economies can fund big hearts. By day, Buddy kept schedule like a security guard. 5 a.m., gentle nose tap at the bedroom door. 10 a.m., a water bottle delivered with questionable accuracy. 3 p.m., leash at the foot, eyes bright, shift change to sunlight. Evening rounds on the balcony, checking birds, breezes, and the suspicious intentions of pigeons. His self-appointed title, Director of Anti-Mailman Affairs. Then the real storm arrived. Power out, rain hard, and Mr. Miller burning with fever. The medicine cabinet was empty. The night was long. Buddy sniffed, memorized, decided. Some doors are closed, some doors are waiting. He pushed a loose latch at a neighbor's house and scratched like a metronome. The door opened to a wet messenger who could only bark in one language: urgency. People followed Buddy through rain and stairwells. They found Mr. Miller collapsed by the table, breath shallow. An ambulance's siren braided with the storm. The ride was fast. Timing was kindness. Another hour and it would have been dangerous, the doctor said. Buddy refused to leave the hospital's shadow, curled under the bed like a promise with fur. When Mr. Miller woke, his first word was not pain. It was Buddy. Neighborhood lights felt warmer on the walk home. Sometimes the smallest citizen becomes the loudest reason we make it. Recovery tasted like hot porridge and sounded like the old kettle's sigh. Mr. Miller found part-time work at a bookstore and left notes on the table. Back at noon, trust me. Buddy answered with perfectly paired slippers and a guard shift at the door. He promoted himself again, Chief Encouragement Officer. When stress returned, he pressed his head against Mr. Miller's chest until the drums slowed. When meals were skipped, he rang his own bowl like a bell for both of them. When sadness sat down, he scooted closer until it had to share the seat. He didn't cure everything. He made everything more survivable. He knew this. On days you can't be strong, be near. Near is a kind of strength. A year later, the courtyard threw a little festival. Someone polished Buddy's stainless steel bowl until it reflected a sky without storms. The noodle vendor said, "Because of Buddy, we look at each other gentler." The neighbor said, "Because of Buddy, we started a group chat called Emergency that we use for birthdays too." Mr. Miller said, "Because of Buddy, I remember that kindness circles back, usually right on time." Buddy stared at a passing cloud that looked suspiciously like a bone. Laughter made the alley feel like a living room. The narrator could end here, but one more truth asks to be spoken. Family is not only blood, it is whoever stands beside you in the rain. Kindness isn't grand, it's small things repeated until they become shelter. If you have ever been left behind, 2 legs or 4, you're not leftover. You're early for the right door. If you have warm hands to spare, lower them once, and someone's whole life will rise. Buddy didn't pay debt, he paid attention. He didn't return love in speeches, he returned it in timing. He didn't fix a life, he stood in it until the storm passed. Here's the message the bowl keeps ringing. What you rescue will rescue you too. If this story touched something steady inside you, like so it reaches another doorstep. Subscribe for more human stories with a wag at the end. Comment, kindness circles back, and share your rescue story. Someone out there needs your little light tonight.